have a tale to tell. And though you may think it fantastical, I neither expect belief nor require acceptance. And even though I witnessed the unfolding of events, I am perplexed at how it all came to pass. I have my wits about me, and this tale is not conjecture on my part. The events actually transpired. You must know that I am now imprisoned, and tomorrow I die. But today I would seize the moment and share my tale with you, and tell you why these events occurred. This tale has terrified and frightened me to the brink of total collapse. My purpose in telling the tale is my hope that one among you will view this tale as mere commonplace and less terrifying than others. And if one among you can provide some logic for these events, that will give me the solace I seek. My tale begins in my younger years. People knew me as a most well-dispositioned and kind-hearted young lad. Indeed, my gentle nature oft made me bear the brunt of my schoolmates' teasing. I must admit that I had a soft spot in my heart for animals of every kind. I so enjoyed petting them. My parents indulged me in this and bestowed on me a variety of pets. I was never so happy as when I was tending them and feeding them. I know now why people have such affection for dogs. For a dog, well-dispositioned and obedient toward its master, stands in contrast to humans whose friendships are ephemeral and who are manipulative, deceitful, and skeptical. I surely do not fault those who are fond of dogs. I feel a kindred spirit with such people. I married when I was still rather a young man, and it was my good fortune to have in my wife someone who was as compassionate as I. Observing my own love of pets, she bestowed on me quite an assortment, a number of birds, goldfish, a rather small and winsome dog, several rabbits, a monkey, and an extraordinarily intelligent black cat. My wife, in moments of jest, fancied that the black cat would bring bad luck, and she would repeat the age-old notion that any black cat was possessed by a witch. During the years, I had forgotten how she would tease me, until I witnessed the very events I will now relate to you. I came to believe that she spoke of the age-old notion not in jest, but in truth. The black cat's name was Pluto, and he was my favorite pet from the moment I laid eyes upon him. I alone would feed him. He was my constant companion, following me wherever I went. Even when I ventured outside to cross the street, I would first have to send him back. We were truly best of friends for several years. Continuing with my tale is difficult for me, but I must tell it. You see, my warm and gentle temperament had changed. It was the alcohol. My drinking had brought about a change within, a change such that I grew quite irritable. I no longer had the patience for the feelings others wished to share with me. They were inconsequential. I took to cursing at my wife, and on several occasions resorted to striking her. My pets all observed this change in temperament, and any that approached me I would rebuff with mean-spiritedness, all save my beloved cat. time, Pluto began to age, and my drinking grew worse and worse. And in my ill temper, I began to turn on Pluto and sought to hurt him. I shudder to think of how I did, but I must continue with my tale. One night, after I had become intoxicated at a saloon in town, I stumbled home. I discerned that the cat sought to avoid me, and so I seized it round the neck, and then it inflicted on me a small bite. 'Twas then I took out my pocket knife, opened it, and gouged out one of Pluto's eyes. And then, and only then, did I release the cat. Disgusted with myself that I could hurt my favorite cat, I was so nauseated and embarrassed that I went straightway to bed and slept. The following morning, when my drunken stupor had passed, I was racked with guilt at the thought of what I had done. I sought to ameliorate my guilt through drink. And as time went on, I drank and drank, and all semblance of my good-natured self vanished, and in its place was a growing sense of evil and a heart that felt no remorse. As for Pluto, he tried to avoid me, but seeing this, I grasped him by the neck and then took a rope and fastened a noose, slipped it round his neck, and hung it to the limb of a tree. I hung it as I wept and felt intense pain. I had hung my beloved pet because something inside told me I should. Appalled at myself, I went to sleep, and then I was awakened by cries of, "Fire! Fire!" I awoke to see the room ablaze. My wife, our servant, and I made good our escape, but the house and all that was in it, possessions accumulated over the years, was engulfed and totally consumed by fire. Why, I was in the